Metal Jesus here, and I am back again with John Riggs.
And thank you, kind sir.
Dude, no, thank you, because you are coming on my channel and bringing your knowledge of hidden gems on the NES.
Yes, and had a great time doing one. One was fun.
Yeah.
Two.
Not so much.
Yeah. One was fun. Two was cool.
Yeah.
But three is where it be, and this is Nintendo Entertainment System Hidden Gems Volume 3.
I know, and I'm looking at the stack here going, oh my god, there's a bunch of games I've never heard of, and that's my favorite thing, is that not only do I get to bring hidden gems to other people, but me myself.
Ah, I see. I know it is.
I know.
Never mind them. This is like, where can I find? Come on.
It's true.
Let's bring it.
All right, let's take a look. Okay, dude.
All right.
Blow my mind.
Another time. In the meantime, let me show you 11 great games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. And this is also courtesy of a lot of suggestions from the other videos that we've done. Gonna start it off with Bucky O'Hare. Super cool game. Never mind the sticker on there.
I was gonna say, I can barely read it. It says, no, you just bought it like the other day.
No, but I mean, that was the price I paid in the late 90s. That was back when EB Games and software, etc. were blowing their thing. Of course, they put the sticker right on the label.
I know.
However...
And you know what the thing is that if you leave it on there too long, now, like if you try to remove it sometimes,
right,
it'll destroy the label. It's been on there too long.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna leave it there, but it's also a nice reminder of how much I paid for that game. $4.99 for a game that now goes for on eBay...
a lot.
100 plus.
Oh.
Yeah, so $4.99, I'm okay with Bucky O'Hare. Super awesome, like an action platformer. It's a kind of a run and gun. You can shoot vertically, which a lot of Nintendo games didn't allow you to do. And you also find your friends along the way, and then they have special powers too. So you can shoot, you can jump, you can have a little booster jump to make you jump higher. Then maybe you have a friend that you can pick up along the way who can break through certain walls and stuff like that. And you can switch between players on the fly as you're playing. So after you capture them, you get them, the story moves on. Good to go. You can kind of choose your first level a little bit. It's just a super fun game.
A lot of people have mentioned this. I've heard of this game quite a bit, so I'm not surprised to see it here.
Had to bust that out one for sure.
Okay, cool. All right, off to a good start.
Off to a good start. We'll change that in a moment, but we'll see. No, these are all great games. This one's called The Guardian Legend.
I have this game.
You do have this game.
I do.
Okay, I will tell you that this game could have been maybe more widely popularized if it wasn't for the weird label.
That is a little, yeah. And it
doesn't explain anything. It's a cool looking label, you know.
And the reason why I can't describe it is because I bought it based on the label and I haven't played it yet. Because to me, that looks like a heavy metal album that like Dio made,
totally.
You know what I mean?
That would be great.
So is the game actually like that at all?
No, not at all. It's a very cool game. It starts out as a shmup, actually. You're flying through, shooting enemies and all that space kind of shooter. And then all of a sudden, it goes into now you're a humanoid, like robot-ish.
Oh,
and then it goes into like the maze type, 3/4 view, kind of like the I don't know if you call them dungeons in Blaster Master. You do that, and then so you go over there, you find your items, you build up your character, and then you transform back into your ship. You're like a transformer. In a way.
So yeah, the cover does not convey that at all.
Nothing. Has nothing to do with anything. Nothing to do with anything.
But I guess it looks cool.
It looks cool, and you'll find it, I'm sure, for a great price. And I miss Broderbund. They used to have a few games out there.
On the Commodore 64, I used to have a ton of their games. So yeah, they used to be a big publisher and developer back in the late 80s, early 90s.
For sure. So Guardian Legend, absolutely, it's a must-have, I think, for any collection. Cool to have that one. We can move on to a puzzle game. This one's a little bit more uncommon. This one's called Fire and Ice. Which
also sounds like a heavy metal album cover.
Oh, it's a Ralph Bakshi movie.
That's right, the animated one.
Oh, love it.
Oh my god.
We're watching Fire and Ice tonight.
Wow, sure. Yeah, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
This game is Solomon's Key 2. And it plays a lot like Solomon's Key, but it's more puzzle-oriented. In a way. So there's fire and ice. You, as I'm guessing Solomon, you create the ice blocks. And then there's fire, and you have to put the ice on top of the fire. So you might have fire below, and then you create like an ice bridge, and then destroy the bridge, so then the ice drops down and puts out all the fire. It's one of those games that starts out super easy. You're like, I got this.
Right.
And then the very next level, you're like, I'm screwed. and I turn it up. But it's cool. There's like so many levels in it, 8 or 9 worlds, and you can go to any of them anytime, all the time.
Okay.
But you can still go through and, you know, so if it gets a little bit too hard, or if it gets a little bit too easy, you can move forward a little bit.
Nice.
If it's a little too hard, you can back up a little bit, and it's certainly worth finding. It's getting up there in price a little bit, so if you can find it for a great price.
It's cool to have a puzzle game in this list.
I love puzzle games. One of my favorites. This game, we got to talk about Rockin Cats.
Rockin Cats.
Cats spelled with a K. I have to laugh because Cats, spelled K-A-T-S, is the name of the rock radio station in Yakima, Washington. That's one of the radio stations I got my start at.
Oh, really?
As a DJ.
Did they play rock music?
Well, yeah, we were Yakima Valley's rock station.
Oh, so this was a game.
94.5 Cats, and then here's Rockin Cats spelled with a K. If I could go back in time, I would have told myself 2 things, which would be invest in Google, and if the game is from Atlas,
right,
buy 2 of them, play 1, keep the other one sealed.
Yeah.
Everything from Atlas is a winner, and Nintendo had some great games for Atlas too. It's a fun game. It's very cartoony. Like you have like your punching thing, like the punching glove that goes out farther.
Oh, I know
and you can use that to grapple onto things, kind of like a Bionic Commando. You can also use it to grab items, like somebody's throwing a potted plant, so you can grab it and throw that at the enemies and stuff like that too. You can punch down and kind of pogo on someone else too. It's a fun game, and it's something worth checking out.
Yeah, it's got a cool label too.
I love it.
All right.
This game is uncategorized. It is Tiny Toon Adventures. What? This is Tiny Toon Adventures Cartoon Workshop. And it's not really a game, but it's like an animation studio.
What?
And my friends and I would rent this game, and we played it all night. You choose your backdrop from the Tiny Toons universe, whether it be the school, whether it be a pond.
I think you're joking with the Tiny Toons. No, it's actually...
It literally is.
It's on there really small.
It is a Tiny Toons... You make your own Tiny Toons cartoon. And again, Tiny Toons was a cartoon in the 90s.
Right.
Based on kind of like Looney Tunes. And you create your own cartoon, so you could have 2 characters, you create your own backdrop, and it's very, very easy to just like pick up, and it doesn't take you very long to figure out, like I'm going to create a standing animation here for a few frames, and I'm going to change the standing animation to a walking animation, moving at a certain speed, and you can create other frames of animation along the way. There's preset text. I wish you could create your own text. You add different soundtracks and music and sound effects and all that, and then you hit start, and then you watch your masterpiece of your very own Tiny Toon. And for the Nintendo Entertainment System, this is huge.
Oh, I can imagine a generation of young kids like seeing, getting this and just being like, oh my god, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like,
there may be an animator out there right now who got their start making their own
I wouldn't doubt on it. I wouldn't doubt
on the Tiny Toons Cartoon Workshop. And my friends and I have a twisted sense of humor, so we'd have it, like they're flying an airplane, then it would blow up and it would say happy birthday, and they'd fall down and, I don't know, get stepped on, or I don't know.
You did penises, didn't you?
You can't draw on it.
Oh, okay. See, I was envisioning.
But there is a very weird...
See where my mind went?
Yeah, you're right there. There is like Buster and Babs, who are the 2 bunnies of the show. There is an animation for either of them to have like a squirt gun fight, and it's kind of weird to see like Babs with like the water in her face, and she looks confused. And you can probably be a little creative with that. Maybe
my mind went there. Yeah.
Okay. I know it would. I just waiting for you to just jump out and say it.
Moving on to
Kabuki Quantum Fighter. Kabuki Quantum Fighter, the story is kind of weird, but it's a Nintendo game, so it's okay and we get away with it. There's a virus in the computer system, so a young kid goes into the computer. There's a new technology to transfer his body and soul into a computer virus, and when it does so, it turns him into a Kabuki.
Okay.
Because his great-grandfather was a Kabuki or something like that.
What's a Kabuki again? Remind me.
It's the Japanese Japanese non-spoken, white-faced, long orange wig, long red hair kind of thing, play, almost.
Okay.
Like silent live acting, and maybe there's fighting involved. I think it's cool because you headbang as your main attack. You whip your hair.
Seriously?
And yeah, your main attack is you headbang the other enemies.
Which is what I do in real life, really.
But I know you do. That's why I thought you would like the game. So Kabuki Quantum Fighter, and it plays a lot like if you love Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Kabuki Quantum Fighter's way up there too. And it's a very, very fun game. Never mind the weird kind of story to
This has to be a hidden gem. I've never seen this. I've never heard of it. No.
Oh man. We'll pop it in after this.
Yeah, we should. That'd be awesome.
Kabuki Quantum Fighter is worth checking out. We have the Battle of Olympus.
That sounds epic.
Shout out to Crazy Mike's video, where not only that's not only the same game I rented for many years.
Well, here's the label.
That is literally the copy that I rented after they liquidated their stock. It even says the old address.
I know. That's amazing.
It's based on Greek mythology, and I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology, and it's also from Broderbund.
Yeah.
I miss those guys. Come on. So, as in Greek mythology, or maybe it's Greek mythology, you go through and you'll fight the Cyclops, and you'll fight other characters from Greek mythology. Your currency is olives. So it's probably the only game in existence where you olive grind instead of like money grind or experience grind.
I do like olives, so this is, you're speaking to me.
Well, there you go. See,
yeah.
If we can work, and maybe Broderbund can come back and came up with a Whole Foods simulator where you create the best anti-pasta table, and then you can create your own olive grinding, experience there. Can we work on that, Broderbund?
I'd be all over
that. Come on, we need another. Actually, I'm thinking about that now. A Whole Foods sim. We could probably like a Whole Foods.
I do love olives. It
the anti-pasta manager or something like that. We'll see. It plays the easy go-to is it plays a lot like Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link.
Okay.
Same idea, side-scrolling, RPG elements involved. You can get items along the way too, like the sandals that you can make you flip upside down, so you're walking along, and then if the enemies are there, you can jump and walk upside down across the things. Your password system means you have to talk to the gods, and I think for some reason I think it's kind of fun that when you go to them, you can't just talk to them, you actually have to duck down to kneel at their feet, and then you can talk to them, and then they'll actually come up to you and give you the password for the game. But Battle of Olympus is absolutely worth checking out.
And an epic label, too.
That is a pretty cool label.
That is pretty cool.
I'll give them that one. We only have a few left here. Let's do... Now, a while back, you did a pinball video with Anna from Circuits and Coffee, and you left out Pinball Quest. So I thought I'd bring it back.
With a skull on it. How do we do that?
Pinball Quest.
The world's first pinball fantasy. Huh.
Yes.
Tell me about this fantasy.
All right. The fantasy is... There are 4 boards in this. It's video pinball. Video pinball. There's 4 boards in it. 3 of them are standard, traditional. They're fun. It's video pinball. But then the 4th one, they label as like a pinball RPG. Huh. So with the enemies save kidnap the princess and everything. It's crazy.
Okay.
They grab the princess and you are the ball, and then it's still you attack with the flippers and the ball, and then there's boss battles and stuff like that.
Really? Wow.
So there's so you have to kill the boss, and the door opens up, and you have to, just like pinball, you have to make your ball go in the door, then you're inside the castle and trying to save the princess.
I love pinball games that have a lot of elements to that. So that is really cool. Wow, I had no idea.
So Pinball Quest for the Nintendo is worth checking out. Huh. And you're probably not going to pay too much money for that one. Okay. Compared to some of the other games I'm showing. So
cool. All right.
I might check it out.
I need to have it.
Oh man, another one. They put the label. They didn't just put the sticker on the label. They put it right on the title of the game. I know. EB Games, software, etc. Come on. This is G.I. Joe. Yeah. Now, they made 2 G.I. Joe games. They're actually both very good. I'd recommend... I could have brought the other one, too. It's funny. They're made by the same company. They're made by the same team, but distributed the first one from Taxon, the second one's from Capcom. So even though they look different, it's still from the same company. I like the Taxon one, I think, a little bit better. So much animation, like in everything. Like the trees are animated, the water's animated. You choose which G.I. Joe characters you want to be. And then each one has different skills. Like, Snake Eyes, for instance, can jump higher than anyone else.
What type of game is it? Is it a battler? Or?
Yeah, it's like a run and gun kind of thing.
Cool.
You have your guns, you can pick up new items. You can always punch enemies, too, if you don't want to use your bolts and all that. But it plays like a Contra or something like that.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because around this time on the Commodore 64, there was a G.I. Joe game that was epic as well. So, I mean, it was a good time for G.I. Joe games. Who knew, right?
Right. It was a little bit later than the cartoon was there for a while, and then between the cartoon and the movies, we had a few of the video games. And I wouldn't mind seeing a new G.I. Joe game from the classic franchise anyway come back.
Yeah. God, man, that sticker right there.
Yeah. I know. And that's what I paid for it again back in the late $13,
90s. So. Yeah.
Huh. That was big. That was big money for a Nintendo game back then in the late '90s when they were just liquidating stock. I was like, I don't know if I want to pay that. But
I think about it.
I didn't. I actually thought about it, and there you go.
There you go.
What happens. We got kind of an action RPG. It's an adventure game. Absolutely one of my favorite games for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I think it's called Crystallis. It might be Crystallis.
I own this as well, and yeah, a lot of people. It's heavier than most. Does it have a battery in here?
It does have a battery in there. Good look at you.
I know. Wow, I'm like learning stuff.
It's like, if I'm honest with myself, I think it's a better game than Legend of Zelda, just because everything involved. But it's a super, super fun game. The stories, you wake up from a cryogenic state and now you got to save the world. All right. So we have, but your character, there's like the sword upgrades and different enemies work with different swords. So that gets kind of annoying a little bit where you have to like,
swap out, or
you have to swap out all the time through the whole thing.
Oh, really?
It's not just like, oh, I can't hit these enemies down until I get this sword. You can get the other sword, and those enemies can die, but then the other ones can't. Then you have to a lot of switching back and forth. But that shouldn't deter you from the awesome music, some of the best graphics on any Nintendo game. Just a super, super awesome game. I actually went through and beat that again. Probably not even 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Just to play through it again. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. All right.
Super, super awesome.
Last but not least,
should we?
I think we should.
All right. This was probably the #1 most in the comments from the other two videos. It's like, how do you not have this game on your list?
And to hype this even more,
yes,
is that when I went down to John Hancock's house or his game room,
right,
a couple years ago, I was asking him, like, he owns every NES game or whatever.
All of them, yeah.
All of them. And I was like, what is one of your favorites?
Okay.
This game. And I was
right to it, huh?
Yeah, went right to it, and that is Shatterhand.
Nice.
It's Hancock approved.
Oh, well, there you go. Shatter Hancock. There you go. Love it.
So tell me about Shatterhand.
It's an awesome game. The end.
All right.
No,
thanks for watching.
No, it is a really awesome game.
Yeah.
You have your Shatterhand. You can punch down walls. You punch down enemies and all that. I like the buddy upgrade, and there's like little boxes that either have like an alpha or a beta symbol. Maybe that's what they are.
You punch them and they basically change.
Yeah, and then depending on what you get, after you get 3 of them, you have like a helper. But depending on what combination of the 3 of you, like ABB or AAA or BAB or whatever,
right.
It's a different thing each time. So it's a different, so you find your best one and use that along with you, and there's a stage select after you beat the first stage. You can kind of go from where you want to go from there. And it's another game, just like, again, Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System. If you love that game, you'll definitely love this game for sure.
I think what's interesting about this game is that it looks like a total budget title. Like honestly,
it totally does.
It does. And so I think
those glasses.
I can imagine people going, Shatter, I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what that is.
Sure.
But of course, it's a surprise, right? It is a hidden gem, and I think that this is a great example of that for sure.
If you're looking at, like, especially at a convention, I do a lot of my shopping at conventions anymore, and you see these stacked up, but I'm just going to kind of shuffle this in right in with the rest of them. It's also like the most generic white and this like Helvetica font.
Right.
There's nothing to it. So you're like, oh, Pinball Quest, cool, all these other cool things. It's like random text on a thing.
Right. Shatterhand, which you're not sure. I mean, of course, it makes sense once you played the game, but still, you're like, what does that mean?
What do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he punches. I mean, he's guy's so awesome. He's punching the logo right out of the.
I mean, it looks like maybe he's got.
Yeah, he's part Android, something or other. All right, so
it's a good one though, and so everyone should have it in their collection.
All right, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So, dude, that is 3 of these down. If people haven't watched the other ones, I'll actually link to them up in the corner on the YouTube and down in the description. Because what is this, like, 30 games or something like that at this point?
We are at 31, actually.
Wow.
We cranked this one up to 11.
We did, definitely.
Yeah.
So, dude, where can people find you on the internet?
I am John Blue Riggs. It's my first name, my favorite color, my last name. And that's at Twitter, it's at Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's everything. John Blue Riggs, you can find me there.
Definitely check his channel out, because he one of the things that he does I really like is that you fix games, and that's
I do.
skill,
I do, because so many, like, you might even have an old Nintendo or Super Nintendo game that's the graphics are glitched up or it just doesn't play, no matter how many times you blow into it or use the cotton swabs or a 1-up card or Brasso or whatever, it still doesn't play. But I'm telling you, don't throw it away, because I bet you it'll still work, or we can repurpose it and get it working again for sure. Yeah, and I do a lot of that too. So.
Yeah, which is very handy for big collectors who sometimes get these like at thrift stores. They don't know why they don't work.
Right.
They assume that they're broken, and you can sometimes help them. So
yeah, absolutely
check that out. So all right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. In addition to the hidden gems that we showed in this video, John and I have also done an NES buying guide, which is really handy if you're thinking about collecting for the original NES and you want to know more about the hardware and also some of the games that may not be hidden gems. It's a really cool episode. Also, John is a big collector of import games, And so we do a series of videos about the Famicom system, which is a nice alternative to some of the high prices that people sometimes see for the original NES. So definitely check those out.